Well, good morning, everyone. We're going to talk about some issues that are facing the people of this country. And as you all know, the American people are getting hit hard by the rising cost of their daily living expenses. Just this morning, we heard that the Consumer Price Index has risen to 7.9% year over year. In the Midwest, that number is higher. It is 8%. So let's take a look at what some of the biggest year-over-year increases are. Fuel oil is up 44%. Used cars are up 41%. Ground beef is up 13.5%. Right now, our farmers are trying to make planting decisions, and they need to make those decisions soon for this season. But they also have to take into account the fact that the cost of fertilizer is up 200%. Gas prices are at an all-time high, and they have been rising for months. This increase isn't just due to what's happening in the Ukraine. It's due to the administration's policies. The national average for a tank of gas is $4.25. And in some areas of the country, it is much higher than that. If you look at all the costs that we are seeing continually rise, that is estimated to have an impact on a typical family of about $2,000 a year. And this is largely erasing any kind of increase that American workers have seen in their wages. Recently, I was at a coffee shop in a small Nebraska community, and the owner of that small business told me that his energy bill, his electric bill, a month ago was about $40. And this month, it was over $300. How are small businesses going to make it when they have input costs that continue to rise? How are people on a fixed income and our seniors going to be able to pay for a tank of gas, to pay for groceries at a grocery store? Inflation is really killing us. And what does the president say? What does President Biden say? He says he can't do much. He can't do much to address, especially rising gas prices. That's unacceptable. We need to restore American energy independence, and we need to look at real solutions on how we can help to drive down these continuing costs and to provide some relief for our families, our businesses, our seniors. Does anybody have any questions? Go ahead.
Yeah. Number one, are we facing a food crisis? Can farmers even have a margin left with these input costs soaring the way they are from fertilizer and other inputs and overcome? So this might even overcome the increase they're getting for their grain, which has also gone up because of Russia and Ukraine being big producers. And secondly, as a temporary solution, is the administration saying no to using, for instance, E15 year-round through the summer to offset that 700,000 barrel shortfall because of that?
Mm-hmm. Farmers right now, what they're telling me is they're weighing their options. You know, commodity prices are doing pretty well, but the input costs are so high, so they're trying to make some planting decisions with an understanding of what the market is, what their costs is, in talking to their bankers as well, too. I just met with some Nebraska bankers. They feel that the ag economy is good. We're not looking at a situation like the 80s, but there is just so much uncertainty out there all across the board, whether it's in agriculture, small businesses, families. There is so much uncertainty out there that people are worried about the future. And that transfers to our energy industry, which Senator Hoeven can certainly speak to with a lot of knowledge with what his state does. But when you have when you have an administration, when you have a presidential candidate, Joe Biden, saying that companies should be held liable, people should be put in jail. I mean, there's a direct attack on energy producers in this country. Think of the uncertainty for energy producers. They want to be able to get out there and be productive to meet our needs. One thing I hear besides inflation is, why in the world are we buying oil from Russia? That is the number one calls that I get. Why are we buying oil from Russia? And I cannot imagine the outrage that every single elected official here is going to hear if we then switch to buy it from Venezuela and Iran. This is a ridiculous policy. And as an ethanol-producing state, we need to look at a clean, renewable energy in ethanol, in biofuels. We're in all of the above. When we're talking energy, that truly means all of the above. And you cannot demonize fossil fuels. You cannot put out misinformation on biofuel and ethanol production and think you can accomplish anything by calming fears, promoting optimism in this country again, which obviously is not coming from the Biden administration.
So have they said
I would say two things.
No to E15, that could make the difference in the volume in a short amount of time.
Yeah, you know, I've had bills that would promote, first of all, the RVOs, to take a look at that, and also year-round sale of E15. It's vitally important. We need to offer consumers choices. That's extremely important. And again, if we truly are talking about an all of the above energy policy, we certainly don't see it in the policies coming from this administration when they demonize certain segments of the American economy and the American energy sector.
So I would say, yes, we are going to see disruptions. Right now, I'm talking to farmers and ranchers. They're worried that they are going to be able to get anhydrous and other fertilizer and other inputs. So, yes, they are very concerned about that, no question about it. And then you got all the supply chain disruptions, too. For example, I'm on legislation that would help with the container issues. You know, obviously we're in situations now where we have containers that come in from the Pacific Rim and they go back empty. So we've got the ocean container shipping legislation, along with Senator Thune, Senator Klobuchar, and others. So we've also got to solve these supply chain disruptions, and we can't have regulations like WOTUS coming back. You remember the whole WOTUS issue under the Obama administration? We fixed that under the Trump administration. We get something that respects private property rights, and now the Biden administration pulls that back, and they want to go right back to the Obama version. That hits our farmers four square in terms of what they're trying to do out there. That hits our energy producers. That drives up costs. That restricts our ability to produce more food and more energy. Those are the things that are creating huge problems out there, like I say, not only in terms of supply, but also supply chain disruptions. So, yes, we are going to see those things, and we're quite concerned about it.
Yes.
I have a question about the omnibus bill. So does have increased funding for multiple different agencies. So and it seems there's enough Republican support to get this through the Senate. What would you say to Americans who are kind of scratching their heads or who are critical, asking, why would you guys be willing to vote for a bill with increased funding for government agencies while we're seeing this record high inflation? What would you say to them?
I would say that they have a good point. You know, as a government, as a federal government, we should be setting priorities just like families do. And when times are tough and you see increases in inflation and you're making your paychecks stretch to make ends meet, I would say that we need to set priorities just like families do. And that isn't, in my opinion, to make increases across the board. It's to go back to regular order, be able to bring up appropriations bills and have a robust debate on them, and then take a vote on appropriations bills.
Are you personally supporting this, and do you think there will be a significant Republican support, or you think just bare minimum?
You know, we're going through the bill. My staff and I are going through the bill to see what's in over 2,000 pages of a piece of legislation that we'll be taking a vote on soon.
tonight. Senator Schumer has repeatedly criticized the Republican Party, saying you guys always bash Democrats for inflation, but without proposing solid solutions for tackling it. What is your response to that? Are you guys working on solid solutions that could help?
I think you heard today from my colleagues and I up here solid solutions to tackle inflation. When we saw the economy grow and jobs grow under the last administration, it was because of policies that were carried out, whether it's with energy or whether it's looking at regulations. Senator Hoeven brought up WOTUS. That's huge in my state as well. And so I think that we constantly put forth all sorts of different ideas on a variety of issues. We'll continue to do that. And Senator Schumer is doing his job as the Democrat leader. Yes.
Is there any proposal that Republicans have to try to mitigate food costs specifically? Is there any conversations with the Department of Ag, for instance, to try and help alleviate some of the burdens that farmers are facing right now?
I think you have to look at, again, regulations that are out there, and when you know there's uncertainty with the administration, people are leery of making investments that they don't know what the return will be on.